My 26M girlfriend, 25F, who I've been with for 5 years and have lived with for 2 years, is spiteful, disrespectful, and says she hates being around me, which really hurts. She says I am controlling and manipulative, but I disagree and think she doesn't care about my efforts for us to have a healthy life. I think the real problem is her lack of respect for what I need and only focusing on herself. I have tried to make sure we are equals in every possible way, and she will not accommodate my needs. When she does accommodate, she does it with bitterness, which makes me feel bad about myself. I am someone who really cares about things like the type of food I eat, supplements I take, air quality in the house, and environmental factors. I have a goal to live a really long life like a centenarian, and that means eliminating things like fuzz from my living environment, and she does not respect this. She says if she knew I was like this before we moved in, she wouldn't have done it. She says I have rules for the house that aren't fair, but I think they are fair, and she just doesn't really understand why it's good for her. I won't eat from Teflon pans and don't want her cooking with them due to off-gassing. I don't think it's okay for her to burn incense or use candles unless they are undyed beeswax, and she likes to paint, but the off-gassing from the paint is toxic, so I've tried to get her to buy milk paint instead of acrylic, and she says it's too expensive. She says I should buy it for her, and I do make a lot more money than her, but I think if she cared about me, she could find a way to make it work, so I won't buy it on the principle that I won't be used for money. There are other toxic crafts she likes, like polymer clay, and I've compromised that she can use the clay outside, but she has to buy an oven for the outside and not use the kitchen for this. Instead, she just stopped painting and stopped making clay stuff and blamed it on me instead of making the effort to meet me halfway. To me, it seems like she's choosing to be a victim so she can tell her friends how horrible I am, and it's just not as hard as she makes it out to be. When it comes to her friends, I don't like them. The ones that are closest to her are vegan, and I'm sorry, I just don't relate to vegan people and don't really want to talk to them. Plus she has told me they don't have a good opinion of me. So I don't want that energy in my house and have asked her not to have them over. This is another thing she says is controlling, and I feel like that's very unfair to me because I should have a say in who is in my home. I pay half the rent, and even if I'm not there, I don't trust them. She sees her mom every Sunday, and they have dinner together. I don't like her mom either. I find her to be selfish, and they've had a bad relationship in the past. I don't want to be exposed to a toxic person like that, so I never see her. Her mom cooks dinner, and it seems like she deliberately doesn't make enough that my girlfriend can bring home leftovers for me. When she does bring back leftovers, her mom will have cooked them in a Teflon pan, and it seems on purpose to spite me. I find it disrespectful for someone to tolerate people who talk badly about their partner, so it really seems like my girlfriend has it out for me sometimes by choosing to spend unnecessary amounts of time with people who don't like me for really no good reason. She is probably telling them lies and making me out to be a bad person, or just telling them one side of our arguments. I also really value my sleep. I sleep with an eye mask, an air purifier, a dehumidifier, a Chillipad cooling system, and earplugs. Some may think it's over the top, but it's something I do to ensure I live a long life. Sleep is very important, and my girlfriend doesn't seem to care about that because she will open my door in the mornings to put my things in my room. If I leave socks out or something, she will open the door and disturb me. Because of this, we agreed that she would never open my door before 1 p.m. and not do anything loud in the house, like putting away dishes or vacuuming. I did tell her that if she wants to initiate sex, she can come in any time, but she doesn't ever do that. Even though we both mutually agreed on this, she will still sometimes do loud stuff earlier in the day than 1, almost like she wants to start a fight, and it's a horrible way to wake up. I admit she does most of the cleaning, and I think that's why she will wake me up before 1 out of spite. However, that's not necessary because I do sometimes compensate her for cleaning, like buying her meals. Something else she's done out of spite is not letting me use her car for errands anymore. My car takes up a lot of gas and hers doesn't, so I'd rather use hers for nearby errands, but I can't now because she got mad at me when I bought a 3-gallon jug of reverse osmosis water and it broke in her passenger seat after my really long shift at work. I didn't want to clean it out, so she did it herself. It was a simple mistake, but she won't let it go and doesn't seem to value how hard I work. In the common space, we don't have a TV, and I believe that a calm and quiet atmosphere should be the norm in the shared space so we don't disturb each other. I like to sit quietly on the couch and read on my phone after work most days. It's my time to relax after being in a loud and busy environment. She will sometimes ignore that and play shows on her iPad or listen to music without headphones. We've had a lot of arguments about this because I don't get why she can't just wear headphones, and she says she should be allowed to do this stuff because she pays to live here too, but she could just wear headphones, so I'm not being disturbed. I think it's the most fair thing to have the common area be quiet, and then if she wants to watch stuff or listen to music, she can do that in her room with the door closed. I do sometimes play games on my phone, like COD, and if I ever do that, she will freak out that I'm being noisy, but really, it's just a taste of her own medicine and seems fair to me since she doesn't always respect the quiet rule. When it comes to sex, we have a dead bedroom. We have separate bedrooms, though. But she does not like sex anymore and won't ever initiate, which makes me feel unwanted. What's worse is that she almost always rejects me when I try to initiate, unless sometimes I will offer to buy her a meal if she does something with me, and it always makes me feel like total shit afterwards that is what it takes. If she were a good partner, I think she'd try at least to enjoy it for my benefit, and I feel like she will eventually enjoy it too. Things have gone downhill, especially after one time a year ago we had sex and she didn't like something that happened and cried. It's never been the same, but I didn't do anything on purpose to hurt her, and she won't let it go, it seems. I have asked her to start going to her doctor to address her libido problems, even coming into the appointments, but her doctor won't let me go in anymore, so I don't know if she's actually being treated or just lying about it. And she refuses to get a new doctor. Something else we fight about is that it seems like she puts no effort into her health. She has hormonal issues and a chronic health condition, and she should get a lot of blood work done to check for biomarkers that might indicate what's going on with her libido, but she procrastinates the appointments. I like to track all the blood work results to do my own research, and sometimes she won't let me see the tests when they come back. It feels like an unnecessary barrier to her getting better, like she'd rather be sick, and something she is choosing to spite me. I am just trying to help her. It really hurts. For the last several months, she has been in her room nearly all the time. Recently, I started asking if I could eat my dinner in her room just to get some quality time, and she was letting me and seemed to enjoy it until one day she didn't like the opinions I was sharing about the types of shows she watches, and now she doesn't let me in there at all. I miss having meals together and just catching up on our days. I feel like she is totally neglecting me and not putting in any effort anymore out of spite. She doesn't ask me how I'm doing, and I really hate that we don't have sex anymore. I don't feel attractive, loved, or appreciated. I have thought a lot about breaking up, but she doesn't have a lot of resources to move, so I think we'd have to live together until the end of our lease, which would make it really hard for me to start dating, especially when the new relationship becomes intimate. I don't know if our relationship is salvageable, and I question our compatibility these days. My question is, what can I do or say to get her to understand where I'm coming from, heal her bitterness towards me, and get her to be more open to change since it would ultimately help her? I'm exposing my sister's lies and false SA allegations. I don't regret it. I, 28M, found out about 3 weeks ago my sister, 33F, has had an affair with a colleague for about 8 months. I found them kissing in a coffee shop that morning and confronted her about it. Long story short, the colleague didn't know she was married, and dumped her on the spot. I confronted her on the spot because I actually like her husband. He is a great person all round and has been taking great care of her. I told her she had 2 days to talk to her husband and confess or I will do it. I took a couple of pictures and had a video of them as well at the coffee shop. The video also included the altercation with the colleague, stating he didn't know she was married and that the affair went on for 8 months. A lot more things was said in the video, but that is basically it. Before someone says but she is family, I don't care. Cheaters are scum in my eyes, which is the exact reason me and my sister had cut our father out of our lives years ago, and she was doing the exact same thing. I did hear a lot from my sister the following 2 days, begging to not tell her husband, but I decided to go to her husband and give him all the proof I had, including the video. But I got a call from my mother that morning asking to meet at my sister's house. She had something important to tell us. When I got to her house, my mother, grandparents, cousin and some of her husband family members was there. I thought she did confess at first and they all were there for support. My sister made a vile accusations and told everyone that she had been SA and raped by a colleague from work, the exact colleague I caught her with. They wanted to inform us before they took legal steps. I honestly felt sick the exact moment the words left her mouth. I asked her husband to speak in private, but she would not allow him to leave the living room. I shouted at my sister that she is a liar and asked her if this is truly the story she is going with, and she burst out crying. Immediately the whole family turned against me and I was kicked out of her house. I left the house, and as soon as I got to my apartment the messages started to come in calling me all sorts of things, and threatening for me to be disowned if I do not apologize to my sister for my behavior and not believing her. It took me a couple of hours and a bunch of messages from family and friend before I hit my limit, but I hit my limit. I created a group chat and added every single person that messaged me and a couple of other people that we knew, and posted the pictures and video I took with a message. It's disgusting that she would make up lies rather than face the consequences of her actions. Since then I'm being blamed for her marriage falling apart because her husband wants a divorce. I'm being called childish for not keeping my mouth shut, and rather than talk to each other in private, I had to go and post it in a chat for everyone to see. Nothing is being said about the fact that my sister created lies of such deplorable thing which could have destroyed that man's life. In the end, and she actually wanted to press charges against that man rather than confess about her cheating. I'm being called a lot worse than an asshole. My mother is refusing to take my calls, and when I tried to visit her she threatened to call the police on me. Every person in the family except for her husband and his side of the family is still on my sister's side, calling me all sorts of things and blaming me for her getting a divorce and the struggles she will have to go through. They harassed me so much that I had to put off my phone. When that didn't work, they came to my apartment. They want me to help sort out the mess between my sister and her husband and say I made everything up and that all of this is a misunderstanding. Don't know how that will work, as my sister and the guy is clearly visible in the video and pictures. I at least got them to stop when I threatened them that I will post everything video, pictures on social media if they didn't leave me alone. Am I the a-hole for exposing her lies? Edit. I have been disowned by everyone in the family so far. The last message I got was from my mother, says the following. I am no longer welcome in the family until I sort out the mess I created. I am supposed to protect my sister and not be the cause of her misery. The fact that I exposed her in the way that I did is proof I don't care about her or anyone in the family. She can't believe I did that to my sister and tarnished the family name among their circles, but QA's people are cutting them off one by one. According to my mother, they are the victims and am the heartless bastard that did this to them. I was also told that she wishes I was never born for some great effect in the end as well. Before someone asks, yes, my sister, Miss Princess, is the firstborn, as the golden child of the family and the one that can do no wrong.